I was working in my yard, and as I was moving things around in the bushes, I came across a snake that was coiled up. I only saw its body, and it didn't look that big at first, but then its head poked out, and I noticed that it was a little bit bigger than I thought it was. I backed away from it, didn't do anything about it, and left it alone. I moved to another spot in the yard and just kept working on. I then passed the spot where the snake was again and noticed that it was bigger than I initially saw it. But again, I left it alone and didn't do anything about it. Later, my wife and youngest daughter got home from the grocery store and they were walking into the house. I caught them and told them to stay away from the bushes, but they got too close and the snake slithered out. It hissed at my wife and clenched its body aggressively. My youngest daughter was right next to her, and they were both panicked and scared. The snake then fully emerged from the bushes, and it was huge. I yelled at them to run, and they did. And then I ran to grab a tool, a knife, anything to stop and kill this snake. But it was too late. As they were scrambling to get away from the snake, it bit my youngest daughter. I heard my wife yell, "It bit Colby." And then I woke up. It was just a dream. Thank God. But I couldn't shake it. You know how some might say that dreams mean something? Like subconsciously, there's something to learn, there's meaning to it. Every time I have a dream, I try to think through it and figure it out. But honestly, I don't really have any clue what they mean, or at least I can't really come up with something deep and meaningful. Not this time. I understood this one, and there's a very important lesson for us men. Every bad habit, vice, or problem you don't address on the spot will grow, fester, and become a threat and danger to your family. And it will bite first the area where you are most vulnerable. In my dream, the snake went after my wife, but it bit my daughter Colby first. She's my toughest kid. She's assertive, disagreeable, and is the one that tests our patience the most. My wife and I, we have to rise to the occasion to be her parent just about every day. The night before, we were having a family movie night, and Colby had gone into the other room by herself. She came out with marker all over her face and body and started growling at all of us, calling herself a monster. It was kind of funny, but I'm the one that had to clean her up. And in her disagreeable style, she didn't want to have to take a bath. There was no talking her into it, so she kicked and screamed while I scrubbed her face, arms, and legs and feet so she didn't have to go into her bed with marker, dry erase marker, all over her. It was frustrating, and if I'm being honest, I didn't keep my cool. She eventually got cleaned up and went to bed. But as I was falling asleep thinking about the situation, I wasn't proud of myself. Then I had the dream about the snake. It went after my wife and bit Colby first. When I'm not confronting things head on, taking care of myself, letting stress get to me. I just did a video about my non-negotiables, and I let stress get me to the point where I was not executing on my non-negotiables, and this is what happens. When that happens, who do I snap at first? Who gets the brunt of it? It's these two, and then it moves on to others from there. If it gets big enough, that snake that you don't confront, don't address, don't kill, don't eliminate, will devour everyone that you encounter. We as men have a very important responsibility to take care of ourselves and confront the thoughts, behaviors, and problems that present themselves to us head on. When we don't, it's not only us who suffer the consequences, but our families too.
If you want to know something about yourself, sit on your bed one night and say to yourself, you got to mean this. You got to be desperate. This is no game, this. It's like, my life is not everything I want it to be, and perhaps it's not everything that I need it to be. And you ask yourself, you sit on the bed and say, okay, man, I'm ready to learn something. What's one thing I'm doing wrong that I know I'm doing wrong that I could fix, that I would fix? It's like, you meditate on that, you'll get an answer. And it won't be one you want, but it'll be the necessary one.
Alcohol is one of my snakes. When I let it grow and drink too much and wake up with a headache or hungover, who suffers the brunt of me not being the best version of myself? My wife and kids, and then my employees, my friends, my clients, etc. What are your snakes? Are you letting them grow, or are you confronting them on the spot? What do you need to eliminate so that you can be the leader that your wife and kids need? We need a generation of strong men, strong fathers, willing to kill the snakes seeking to destroy families and erode society.